Okay, in the first round here, and keeping. I had time to think about that because I was waiting for my video to save. So I only have 2 lands, but I am running 18, and I am on the draw. But I have my 2 like nice early 1-drops to kind of help me get there. So I feel like I have time, and I'd rather just get those guys out and relax while I can. Here I'll just start with the Palace. I don't really need the rats out right away. So I'd rather get this out so I can get, like, for example, the Jeskai Sage on turn 2 and be a little more efficient with the mana base. We're playing against Thy Doctor, who offered a very nice good luck off screen. I keep the chat. Ooh. Interesting. At the beginning of the end step, returns creature. So opponent's paying 2 to dash out and do 3 right away to me. So my opponent's looking to be a little aggressive. So what do I want to do? Well, I'll play the Jeskai Sage. When it dies, I can just trade off and draw another card. That seems fine to me. What I was saying is I keep the chat off of screen so I can see it, and I can kind of filter what you guys watch, because when people get salty, I'm really not that excited to add that to the community. But Thy Doctor is quite pleasant and nice, and has just wished good luck. So thanks, you too, Thy Doctor. Alright, Mardu Scout's doing another dash here. Don't know where it went. There it is. I'm just going to block. I'll trade and draw my card. Happy to. Not a problem. Nice. Alright. We'll just bust a move on all of our mana. And now that we're kind of in the driver's seat here, we'll just start getting one of our ways to put damage through, since we'll be able to attack first. Then we'll start shoring up the ground with our other little guys here. Might just do a Merrill Nightblade next turn if my opponent doesn't do any bigger threat. If I need something that blocks well, we'll put the rats down and do like a morphed Ruthless Ripper. Another Mardu Scout. How interesting. I mean, it's a fine card. You're just going to pay 2 every turn to hit me for 3? Like, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to trade off my Wind Scout. I mean, I'm now at 14 to 21, but my opponent's not adding the board. I'm going to be quickly doing a lot more on the board. So I'm curious as to if my opponent's able to play like a 2-drop or something. If my opponent's content doing a bunch of Mardu Scout quickness, I think I'm just going to play the Typhoid Rats and the Ruthless Ripper face down next turn instead of the Merrill Nightblade, because this just trades with the guy. And then I can just have the Rats trade. Same deal. And by then, we'll have our Jeskai Wind Scout doing damage in the air, as well as probably have drawn our 5th land so that our 2 great removal spells have rocked us into a good board state. Opponent is thinking. Alright, I paused for a second because my opponent was stepped away. Oh, and has lost connection to the game. Oh. Presume that means my opponent's just trying to reconnect stuff. Anyway, we got some time. I'm going to go ahead and do like what I was saying, the Typhoid Rats into Reserve, so I'm not going to play the Swiftwater Cliffs yet, even though that means at 5 I don't have it. I mean, I could always just play the Rats and then tap land, but I'm really not excited for that. The Doctor's back, so I'm gonna go clicky through now. Or it has the... Gonna attack you with the Wind Scout here, just for 2. Come on. No, I'm a little bit laggy. I'll probably have to restart on the next round. There we are. I'll have 6 for now because I'm not anticipating anything that makes me want to flip this, but now I'm going to have to not have 6 in case my opponent goes to remove the Deathless Ripper. I want to at least get my 2 points of value in. I can show the Elk Blade or something. Alright, now there is a big boy. Bear's Companion. Alright, love my Death Touchers. Not gonna lie. But and we have ways to take out those guys if they become problematic. But for now, just happy. Ooh, Bloodstained Mire. I think we'll go ahead and rock that guy out so I can have 5 mana available. And I guess I'll grab a Swamp. I have plenty of red sources for now. question is, I mean, I want to play the Merrill Nightblade, but I only have 1 mana available, and I have to show my Reach of Shadows. And I'm content to pretty much just like pound away in the air here. Yeah, I'll rely. I want to develop my board some more. So I'll go ahead and rely on my Death Touchers here. If I show the Reach of Shadows, it's fine. I'm probably going to, if this is how the game goes, reveal the Reach of Shadows, have 2 Death Touchers to trade. Well, I guess I'll just use 1 there. And a Valley Dasher that has to attack before combat. Interesting. Are you also going to dash out your other dude? If you do that, I'm happy. You're not doing that. Okay. Valley Dasher comes in. We're putting the Merrill Nightblade in front of it. Opponent's going for everything. If that's the case, you're going here, you're going here. I'll take 2. That's okay. There could be some substantial blockage with some tramplage, but for now I'm happy with making my opponent use cards to get rid of these guys. What do you have? Pump? Trumpet Blast. Oh, that's interesting. So you do kill my guys, but your guys trade also, and I just take 4 damage. I'm okay with that. There's no trample here, so I'm very fine with that. And Crater's Claws. Am I blocking the Valley Dasher? I mean, I'm behind-ish. It could be just time to reveal. No, because I want to put pressure on. I could just use a Crater's Claws to kill the Valley Dasher. That seems so bad to me. Yeah, so just late in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just 5 to the face. Thing is, I just don't have a creature that I'm blocking the Valley Dasher with. But that's in 5 turns, and if it gets really nasty, I can use a removal spell on my opponent's turn to do that, so. Oh, but my opponent's going to have the 3/1 as well. So I do kind of want to trade off, don't I? Three, 4, 5. I'm only doing... Yeah, I'm only attacking the Jeskai Wind Scout. This is kind of crazy, but I know my opponent has a Mardu Scout in hand plus 1 on the card. So I'm going to go ahead. Use the Reach of Shadow. Oh, no! Oh, good. Nope, it did go through. I thought I didn't get it. I can't reveal my Morph now, which is kind of okay, because I can still trade with what's on my opponent's side. But I'd really like to be able to have access to the Death Touch and 2 life damage if needed, so that's a mistake. I'm always 1 second behind myself and sucking at life. I'll have 6 since I'm tapped out. My opponent doesn't know this isn't a dude and that I don't have a card in hand, and I'd rather, when I'm tapped out, maybe my opponent picks up on that. Ooh. Interesting. So when it does that, it wants to pound through 3 damage each turn. Which right now is actually good on this board. Because we're at parity, I have to be using cards, but the Crater's Claws will actually kind of get me there. And then I can use a Burn Away if I'm really worried about this guy. Can't believe that's how I'm doing stuff, but whatever. Crater's Claws does what? 5, right? 1, 2. I think I'm going to burn away my opponent's Mardu Scout, because I don't want to be on a 3-turn clock. How's that going to look for me? I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage to my opponent the next turn. It's definitely not exciting. I just don't want to drop below 5 in case my opponent's playing Aerostorm in this sort of aggressive deck. Goodbye cards. I hope my opponent doesn't have a follow-up play. I really just want a creature. Hey, that's a great creature. Come on. There we go. Sorry, a little bit of lag here, like I said. I'll do a restart as soon as next game we go. Did this. Prevent a disdainful stroke or something. We'll unmorph here at end of turn. Then I think that should be the game. Question is, do I go for it? Flip, flip. Ooh, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're gonna go for it. I'll just leave one swamp back. I should have done that before combat to get my prowess trigger. Though it shouldn't matter, still, it's a thing. If I did this before combat and my opponent had a way to deal with it or something, we would have known, and then I would have had to use one less mana. And then I kept one back in case I needed to play my Disowned Ancestor. So there we are. I'm going to restart real quick. Alright, into sideboarding here after restarting Moto. Anything I want to bring in? Secrets? No, my opponent's going a little bit fast. Remember, I was worried about that with this deck, but the types of things my opponent's playing, I'm actually okay with, I believe. And I do still have this Krumar option if I want. Barrage of Boulders is a source. It doesn't really help with those dash guys. And those are the only ones that were X1s. It's more like my other game plan is just working better anyway. I guess, do I just want the Unyielding Krumar in just to have an earlier creature down? And another creature for blocks? My removal seems so fantastic, though. This will be good. Yeah, I think I'm going to kill one of... guess my opponent is looking to go fast. I'm going to kill one of these 5-droppers. Get rid of that guy. Since there's just so many. I'd rather just have more creatures. See what my opponent's playing first, and my opponent does. We've got 3. First thing to do, though, is at turn 4. Can I survive like that with my opponent? Fortunately, I think this is the kind of deck I have. I'm going to keep it. I hate mulliganing in this format. In a slower format where you're playing 18 lands, I'm always down for keeping if I can kind of get through stuff. And, of course, I top deck like a champ to get... Actually, it's not really top decking like a champ, because really I just need like an early play, right? My opponent just pounds in for 9. Ooh, Air of the Wilds. That's a good card. My opponent just gets really aggressive, though. Can really do a lot of damage. That's a little bit better for what we're looking for. It's a nice card we can trade off early. And then we can morph it on turn 3, move to turn 4. If we trade off stuff, these attendants just get better and better. Dashing for 5. Yep, alright. We're getting the beats down. Yeah, we're just looking to trade off cards here. Stabilize the board before we lose too much life. It's not progressing the board, so again, I'm very okay with that. I'm surprised my opponent's just not playing it, but whatever. Not even a question as to what the play is. Next turn we'll have decisions to make, but for now, we'll trade away. Trade away. If my opponent does a dash again, I'm actually put the Morphin Fur in the Air of the Wilds. I don't care about that 1 point of damage. But if Ferocious ever gets turned on, it's going to be a lot more difficult to deal with. I'm fine with Sidisi's Pet dealing with any of these guys. There's an argument to try to keep it alive, so I can flip it and just kill the dude, but again, with what I have in hand, what I'm doing with my mana each turn, I just want to trade off. Alright, so my opponent did just go ahead and play it. No. Sorry, I want to be blocks. For 1 green, I don't think there's anything in the new set that makes that not work out for me. Cool. And a burn away. Eventually we'll have a red mana source. For now, would I rather trade my Skullkin for the Mardu Scout or the Merelk Nightblade? I think the Skullkin. My opponent has more cards in which this kind of matters, so I'm actually going to play the Skullkin first. Sucks paying, or trading a 4-mana creature with a 2-mana creature, but my opponent's kind of paid 4 already for it. On top of the fact that we already knew Skullkin sucks as a card. Alright, what you got here? Frontier Siege. Sieges tend to be good. I don't know what they do. And cast... Okay, so it hasn't entered the battlefield yet. It gets to choose. I assume dragons, whenever a creature with flying is battlefield under your control, you may have... Oh, maybe not. That's a bad siege. At the beginning of each of your main... So my opponent gets a bunch more mana, but is my opponent really ramping into stuff? My opponent seems to have an aggressive deck. I'm confused. Chooses cons. Okay, so my opponent, I'm reading off the chat, did choose cons, you'll see there in the blue. So my opponent gets mana at each main phase. Remember, I play the Skullkin so I could block against this opponent. I just want to be trading. My opponent gets 2 more mana. Does my opponent use it? No. Alright, so now we're in really good shape. We have 5 mana. We're 1 away from getting Shamley Tents online. Jeskai Sage is kind of okay. But we're just going to go with what costs more. I'm effing 16 because my opponent's tapped out of mana. Opponent now has tons of mana in the world. Now we'll see how important the Frontier Siege is to my opponent. Could be quite important to where I need to find a red source fast to deal with whatever fatty comes down here. But who knows, maybe my Death Touch will keep me alive long enough. Bear's Companion. That's not particularly scary. Don't get me wrong. It's not great for me. I might be taking 6 here, going down to 9 while I get Meryl Nightblade into black territory. Opponent does have a follow-up. Alright, so Frontier Siege. Ooh, and take out my Meryl Nightblade. Alright. Well, I can cast my Shamley Tenants now. And I have a Reach of Shadows for backup. Definitely going to go with the Shamley Tenants first. That's 5, 6, yeah. Get our Death Touch on. This is just a huge stop sign. It's our only Delve dude, so that works out. Just sticking to game plan of hanging out for as long as possible. Block, 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 could it block, block, blocks. And then we have 2 good removal spells. And a Jeskai Sage. Alright. Opponent has a bunch of mana to work with. Defiant Ogre. Alright, I assume you're going to get a 4 Gigantor guy. It's no artifact to destroy. Shamley Tenant does a good job still. Keeping everything at bay. We got good removals. So when it's time, we can start busting a move in. I assume no attacks. Opponent gets more mana, but probably doesn't have a whole lot left in hand. Yeah. Good. I will still play this, the Jeskai Sage. It's a bummer that I can't keep up my 5 drops, but this can prevent a lot of damage. And again, it draws me to their card, so feeling good about that. Would love a red source, but I'm not really looking to draw lands, to be honest, because I already have 2 good remove spells. I'll start firing those off at end of turn against my opponent. Ooh, Icy Blast. That's going to be problematic. 8, 9, 10, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Yeah, since I can't kill it now. I didn't see Icy Blast last turn, plus I probably wouldn't even thought of... Well, maybe I would have. I don't think I would have actually realized that that would have killed me. Is there anything that gets me out of this? Definitely not a swamp. Can only play 1 anyway. Taking 6, I can't untap, so I'm not going to show the swamp. See if my opponent makes a silly mistake here. I doubt my opponent will. This is just a quick, well, I'm attacking, show me that you got it kind of thing. If I hadn't played the Jeskai Sage and I actually started using the removal, I would have been fine. But I didn't think about falter effects, or in this case, tap effects. Yeah, now I can't play both, so we'll concede. Alright, so something to pay attention to out of nowhere. I don't like that Frontier Siege. Anyone else catch that? I'm not a fan. I don't think I want to cancel against like an Icy Blast. Or the will not against my opponent. I think I still like my sideboard. Or rather, I still like the deck the way I have it with the sideboard, just having pulled out the, Wait, didn't I pull out one of the 5s? That was the whole idea. This is odd. One of this was supposed to be gone, and this was supposed to be here. I wonder what happened. That's odd to me. Although now, my opponent's not doing a whole lot of the monocolor thing, so I'm actually thinking that the Reach of Shadows is better than Throttle, since now I've seen something with a big enough toughness to make that matter. I would like to play first, because I don't need my opponent getting a super quick start on me. A little rough start, but we have a debilitating injury in all of our colors, so I'll keep. As you know, I love to do that. And debilitating injury, except for against those dashers, which of course my opponent loves to dash, is still very good against any kind of like aggressive start my opponent might have. Ooh, we drew another good card, so that's nice. Pass the turn for now. We'll play our Mystic face down next turn. Might just trade off for a creature, we'll see. My opponent doesn't have a play, so that's fantastic here. Still gonna go off with the Morph though. And then we'll see. Assume my opponent's a 3-drop. Hopefully it's something we want to debilitate injury. Do I want to trade my Mystic for his Valley Dasher? I don't think so. My guy's better than your guy. There'll be ways to kill this guy soon enough. In the meantime, we're at parity. Right? I'm going to gain a life. Let's see what I draw. Krumar. Yeah. Now your Valley Dasher's gonna die, friendo. Very glad I brought that guy in from the sideboard, by the way. Otherwise I have another 5-drop stick in my hand. I want to have this race going as well. Still more than happy to make this block. Sorry, dude, it has to attack. Or maybe you're just, yeah. You got her. You got her. You got it going on. Opponent can use a card to get rid of the Krumar, but then I'm still getting the 1-for-1 I wanted. Now I just gotta have goodness. Rage form. Ah, so this is the double strike one, right? Yeah, double strike. So you get a manifest and double strike. Debilitating injury is going away. Alright, that is definitely happening. Let's read this again. You manifest the top card, attach it to it, and then chain a creature's double strike. And if this is anything bigger, then it can get really nasty. Which is why, immediately, we go boink. Likelihood that's a creature. Don't know how. Ooh, wow. That would have been very good on that rage form there. Do I want 3 mana available for this guy? No. So we'll go ahead and play a Swiftwater Cliff so we can gain a life. And then I'm going to play the Disowned Ancestors. F6. And then attack for 5. F6 is my opponent's tapped out. Opponent can't do anything or respond. We'll get our beats in. Feeling good with a nice set of defense, an evasive creature, and a Reach of Shadows to take care of some nasty, you know, Snowhorn Rider or Bear's Companion or something. Those big teamer cards that we were seeing earlier. Probably just start outlasting this own Ancestor next turn instead of keeping up the Reach of Shadows. Alright. Here goes that guy, my good guy, which is a little worrisome because eventually this Krumar won't be able to get through, but such is the world. Oh, my opponent's not tapped out. I don't think there's anything in these colors at 2 that makes me want to have mana up, but probably should have thought of that before I outlasted. Because originally I was going to do the whole F6 thing again. Next turn we'll be able to outlast and keep up Reach of Shadows. Or use Reach of Shadows, possibly. Define Ogre, yeah. Another good example why we want the reach in instead of the throttle. This is exactly the card I was thinking of. Do I want to attack for 4 or do I want to outlast? Pretty sure I just want to outlast. Could just get the Ruthless Ripper down. Yeah, I'll do that next turn. Attack for just 3. Outlasting gets my guy out of some burn range, as well as is over the course of turns more damage, so just peen away for 1. My opponent's stuck without blue mana, so it was kind of the turn that if my opponent had blue cards in hand, needed to get that island versus the Mountains Forest thing. Now it's gonna be pretty hard for my opponent, I think, because I'm assuming one or two of these 3 cards in hand is like that. Here my opponent's looking to get some D online. Do I want to play Ruthless Whipper as a 2/2 or a Death Touch? It's not attacking either way. I'm going to attack in with its own ancestor. I'm not going to offer the trade with a Krumar. No reason to, really. I think since I'm the aggressor here, I'm not looking to block much. We'll just go ahead and cast Ruthless Ripper face down. In order to put more pressure on my opponent. Bear's Companion, if my opponent had drawn an island, could pretty well stabilize this board here. Here's a Frontier Siege without flyers in the deck. Yeah, it's Cons again. Just a rare that's not doing much. My opponent has all the mana, green mana in the world as it needs. It needs some blue mana is the issue. Yeah. Dragon's Eye Savants. Yeah, let's attack with everything, put my opponent down to 1, and play another creature. So then I have 3 lethal dudes on the table. Just try to close the game out before my opponent finds blue. Yep, they trade. Ooh, File Morph. Love it. Should have played my Swamp. Yep, and that's it. And we move on to the second match of the Fate Reforged pre-release Swiss drafts. Woohoo!